अस्सलाम वालेकुम। प्रोग्राम एम्बेसी रोड में खुश आमदीद। नाज़रीन, आज हमारे इस प्रोग्राम में मेहमान हैं पाकिस्तान में रूस के सफ़ीर जनाब एलेक्सी दिदोव। वो एक बड़े मंजे हुए तजर्बाकार सफारतकार हैं और वो पाकिस्तान और रूस के दरमियान ताल्लुकात को बेहतर बनाने, दोनों मुल्कों को एक दूसरे के करीब लाने में बहुत अहम किरदार अदा कर रहे हैं। आज हम उनसे गुफ्तगू करेंगे पाकिस्तान और रूस के ताल्लुकात के हवाले से और मुस्तकबिल में पाकिस्तान और रूस किस तरह एक दूसरे से करीब आ सकते हैं और किस तरह का ताउन जो है दोनों मुल्कों में फ़रोग पा सकता है। Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us in this program. You're welcome here.
Thank you very much as well. It's my honor and pleasure to address Pakistani people via this television program. If you don't mind, I will make a
Please go ahead.
Introduction. You know, we are undergoing a very special period. This year we shall celebrate the 70th anniversary of the victory in Second World War. For the Soviet Union, it was a great patriotic war during which Soviet Union lost 28 million of its precious lives. Actually, 80% of German fascist war machine was directed against the Soviet Union. And sometimes we are forgetting what kind of threat was averted. Fascists professed racial theories which divided people into supreme human beings and inferior human beings. The inferior human beings, to which category they put almost the majority, although that's Eastern Europeans, Asians, Russians included, Germans, Jews, they were supported partly to extermination or partly to slavery. As for Jews, they were supposed to be fully exterminated only due to their nationality. And it were not mere proclamations. Fascists exercised their inhuman practice in real deeds. Many remember about concentration camps where millions were killed, and the threat, not only to our country, to the world as a whole, was real, and the scales were such that they didn't have any precedent in history. I should also note the contribution which was made by armed forces of colonial India in this. They also participated in the war, mostly against militaristic Japan, which was Hitler's ally. And actually, many of these people who participated were Muslims, and later they constituted a backbone of the Pakistani army, and we are very grateful for these people. So after that, I would like once again thank our organizers for this opportunity, and I'm ready.
Thank you. Ambassador, Pakistan and Russia, they've been trying to improve their bilateral relations after the Cold War. Do you think that Pakistan and Russia have been able to overcome the bitter legacy of the Cold War, and now they are coming closer to each other? What is your assessment?
Well, I agree with you. My assessment of the current state of Pakistani-Russian relations is very positive. Pakistan is one of our key regional partners, and I should say not only in the scale of region, but at the international arena as a whole. We have very intensive contacts on various levels, on ministerial levels, on upper level, working contacts. Besides the positions of our country on many actual issues of the world and regional agenda, they are either the same or coinciding. As for our economic relations, they are probably not so bright, but we shall, I think, speak about it in detail later. But in general, I should say that my assessment is very high. These relations have positive dynamics. For example, this very period, the high-level Pakistani delegation led by Minister Khwaja Asif in Moscow, they are participating in a security meeting there. We also expect other high-level delegation there in Moscow. So I think that the legacy of, I wouldn't say it Cold War period, because during Cold War period, during the times of Field Marshal Ayub Khan or Prime Minister Bhutto, the relations were also quite positive. I should say this is a legacy of 80s. So this legacy is overcome.
Ambassador, some of the top delegations of Pakistan, led by our military and civilian leaders, they visited Moscow, and similarly, some military leaders of Moscow, they have come to Pakistan in the recent years. Pakistan is especially seeking military cooperation with Moscow. So you think that Pakistan and Russia are moving very fast on that track?
Well, I think we are moving quite satisfactory on this track, and this is a dialectics of the movement. First of all, it starts with exchange of the delegations, exchange on other levels. For example, last year we saw 2 friendly visits of our naval vessels to Karachi port. One of these visits in October was accompanied by joint anti-drug maneuvers together with Pakistani Coast Guard. And in November, all this resulted in the visit of our Minister of Defense, Mr. Shoigu, to Pakistan, during which the agreement on military cooperation was finally signed. According to this agreement, there will be some exchanges of information, exchanges of experience, particularly in the area of peacekeeping. We know that Pakistan is very active in this field and has generated quite a vast experience in peacekeeping in various parts of the world. Participation on maneuvers, some educational programs. So this is going on, and I should say that the level of this cooperation, which is relatively new for our both countries, it is definitely on the rise.
Ambassador, Pakistan is specifically looking for some military equipment from Russia. There have been reports that Pakistan is looking for M35 helicopters from Russia, and there have been talks on this issue, on this topic.
Absolutely, you are right. This issue is on the table, I should say, since autumn last year. Actually, this is area of, as we call it, military technical cooperation. And you know, now the talks are on the way, but the essence of these talks, it is not a political one. Political decision was taken. As for these talks are dedicated to formulate the conditions and some specific figures of the commercial contract concerning purchases of these Mi-35 helicopters. Maybe it goes a little longer and a little slower than we would wish, but at the same time we should understand that this is it is a pilot project. Sometimes the work on pilot projects takes more time than usual. Yes. We are just paving the way for future cooperation in this field. And I strongly hope that this work, it would be completed in a favorable way, and finally the contract would be formulated.
Some analysts think that previously, in the years, in a few decades back, Pakistan was deprived of Russian military equipment because Russia was very close to India, and India would obstruct or impede any agreement between Moscow and Islamabad for the supply of military equipment. And now that India is so close to US and the Western world, so I think that pressure or that kind of inhibition is no longer there.
Well, India remains our traditional and important partner in many fields, including military technical ones. As for purchases of Russian helicopters by Pakistan, I think everyone in the world understands that the character of threats which countries face, first of all, the terrorist threat, a drug threat, is a threat that needs common work on it, addressed it in a just a cooperative way. And these purchases are directed at strengthening Pakistani counter-terrorist potential. So in a general sense, this would be favorable not only for Pakistan, but for general struggle against terrorists, for consolidated efforts against the threat. And I think there is understanding of this fact everywhere, including India.
Yeah, Mr. You mentioned the threat of terrorism. Pakistan and Russia both are threatened by the terrorists, and there have been very ugly incidents in both countries. In what way the two countries can cooperate with each other to eliminate this threat for a long period of time to come, or permanently annihilate these terrorists?
Well, the threat of terrorism is actual for many countries, both for Pakistan and for Russia. But, before you see some consequences of terrorist acts, well, you are not likely to perceive the depth and, I think, sharpness of this issue. In this connection, I should say that it was very useful for our understanding how it goes, I think, to be settled at the same tune with Pakistani people was the visit of a group of ambassadors to Peshawar, which was organized about 2-3 weeks ago by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Pakistan.
You went to the Army Public School?
Yes, I went to the Army Public School together with this group of ambassadors, and we saw this place where this terrible and bloody act has happened. And we also visited police headquarters, army headquarters, where we were told that the situation is changing to the better, especially in the area of what I should say, the understanding and cooperation between army and police from one side and general people from other side. I think only when you see this, what you can understand what kind of threat it is, just in reality, it's in human face of the threat. And of course, this threat is needed to address collectively. We have many platforms to cooperate, like regional anti-terrorist structure under Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We have a mechanism of bilateral consultations with Pakistan concerning the fight against terrorism. Respectively, we are, of course, together with Pakistan, we are firmly standing for collective efforts in the struggle against this horrible threat.
Thank you, Buster. We'll take a short break. नाज़रीन, एक मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं. ब्रेक से वापसी के बाद हम दोबारा रूस के सफ़ीर से गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला शुरू करेंगे.
लक्स का लग्जरी ब्यूटी बार 10 रुपए की बचत के साथ.
विनर्स ऑफर. ग्राउंड के नीचे से ढूंढे और जीते 50 होंडा सिविक और करोड़ों फ्री पेप्सी. तो पियो पेप्सी और जीतो अभी.
जब कहीं से ना आए झोंका हवा का, तब घर में लगाओ सिर्फ ओसाका. याद रख,
वेलकम बैक। हम बात कर रहे हैं पाकिस्तान में रूस के सफ़ीर जनाब एलेक्सी दिदोफ से, और उनसे हम मुख्तलिफ मौज़ूआत पे पाकिस्तान और रूस के हवाले से हम बात कर रहे हैं। एम्बेसडर, you spoke about the economic cooperation between Russia and Pakistan. Both countries, especially Pakistan, wants economic relation with Russia to be strengthened. Many visits have taken place. The former president, Mr. Asif Ali Zardari, visited Moscow, and also, other ministers, they have been going. The current government has also sent its high-level delegation to Moscow to seek cooperation in the field of economy and commerce. You think that these efforts are going to bear fruit?
At least I hope so. We have a time-trusted mechanism of Intergovernmental Commission for Economic and Trade Cooperation, which also covers some scientific technical issues. Mr. Dar, Minister of Finance, is heading the Pakistani part of it. Mr. Mutko, Sports Minister, is heading our part. The latest meeting took place in the end of November, and we strongly hope that the next meeting will take place this year. It's now Islamabad's turn to hold the meeting. As for the trends in economic, as I mentioned in the very beginning of our dialogue, unfortunately, they turned out to be not so positive. The level does not correspond to the potential of both countries, and moreover, it's last year we unfortunately witnessed a decline in the volume of our trade, which was about $550 million. Now the turnover is about $460 million. One of the reasons was the falling of demand for Russian steel in Pakistan, which was actually the main item of our export to Pakistan. Unfortunately, the volume of the trade of steel and steel products, it fell 4 times from, I think, 64 million.
What's the reason? This Russian steel is so good. Why it has declined?
Well, it's very difficult to say. We are trying to analyze what happened with this, but the reason on the surface is actually the fall of demand. But what is the reason of the fall of demand? We are still analyzing it, what actually happened. However, it fell 4 times from about 64 to $16 million. At the same time, we saw a growth of Pakistani export of sports goods. The growth was threefold. It is about $20 million now. As for general balance of trade, 2/3 of the turnover is export of Pakistan to Russia, 1/3 is export of Russia to Pakistan. But as for figures for January, which we have, they bring us some hope. They were very positive figures, and we hope that the problem of the last year will be finally overcome. There were some problems concerning unsettled debt issue between 2 countries. I think you know about it. Yeah. But actually there were negotiations between our Ministry of Finance, which resulted in our providing a draft agreement on settlement of the issue to Pakistani partners. And now we expect the reaction of Pakistani Ministry of Finance and starting negotiations not on the principles, because this is a part which is already made. Yeah. It's gone. There is agreement. Yes, there is agreement.
The details now.
Yes, now on the details.
Yes.
Secondly, there are some particular projects which we are interested in realization. It is a Karachi steel mill. By the way, I visited it recently. Then some electric power station. And as for concrete steps ahead, Now there are negotiations in Moscow. Pakistani delegation makes negotiation on our participation in a very huge project that is a gas pipeline from Karachi, maybe not Karachi, for Port Qasim, it's near Karachi, to the north to Lahore. It's south-north pipeline, gas pipeline.
Right. So Russia is going to finance this or provide technical assistance?
This is subject to negotiations, but of course, when there are these kind of projects which we participate large scale according to the universal practice, we are providing some credit lines, but how they will be accounting for these credits, it's just matter of discussion.
Ambassador, you mentioned steel, export of steel from Russia to Pakistan. The only steel mill, the big steel mill that Pakistan has, the Karachi steel mill, was set up by Russia back in 60s.
Yes, you are absolutely right.
And we were hearing that Russia is interested to upgrade this, to modernize this project, and there were some contacts, negotiations between the two countries, but it didn't come into a reality.
Actually, this topic was discussed during the meeting of Intergovernmental Commission, and it was decided that we shall be expecting Pakistani proposals in this connection, which would largely depend on the further fate of this object of Karachi steel mill. As far as I know, it will be subject to privatization, but what are the conditions of privatizations? I guess it's not quite defined yet and in detail, and what will be our role, not defined either, but we shall be waiting for the proposals. Actually, about 1 week ago, I visited Karachi steel mill. I was told that due to measures taken, the stable capacity which was reached by the factory is 42% now. From time to time, where there is a good inflow of gas or an inflow of iron ore, sometimes the capacity reaches even 70%, but it's from time to time. Stable
it varies.
Level is 70, yes, but a stable level is 42%. So hopefully it won't take a very long time to make final decisions, and we are still awaiting the proposals, and I think this will be also subject of further discussions.
Another aspect of trade between Russia and Pakistan has been that Pakistani farmers, they have been sending their products to Russia, like potato and some vegetables and maybe fruit also. But what I've heard is that it is also declining. Is that true? And if it is so, what could be done to popularize Pakistani agricultural products in Russia?
Well, I shouldn't say it is declining. It's roughly on the same level. There are always some ups and downs, but it's not as the situation with the steel. As for Pakistani foodstuffs, of course, there were some contacts concerning this, and I think Pakistani embassy in Moscow is quite active in this field, because this is subject to our controlling organization, which control the quality of products like Rossellhozhnadzor and others. But I think that trade with Pakistani foodstuffs has a good prospects. Second thing, it is actually the problem of awareness of both businesses. And when I spoke to Pakistani businessmen in Karachi, which I recently visited, there were some ideas to organize exchanges between businessmen. What is very interesting, it is the proposal of Karachi businessmen to organize one country exhibition during which they can be exchanged, first start to exhibition of Russia in Karachi, then to send Pakistani delegation to Moscow. Such things can be implemented only with the way of direct contact with businessmen. And we are trying to promote them, of course.
Another area of prospective cooperation between Pakistan and Russia is oil and gas. Back in 60s, Russia was keen and interested to explore oil and gas in Pakistan. The OGDC, Oil and Gas Development Corporation, was also set up with the help of Russia. So are you interested again to help Pakistan in exploring oil and gas?
Well, actually, we are ready to provide assistance in this area because we have good expertise in this area. As for gas transportation, I already mentioned that the negotiations concerning this north-south gas pipeline are on the way. And I think this is a really good area of cooperation, taking into consideration some regional projects which can be implemented. For example, such a project as TAPI, this gas pipeline from Turkmenistan via Afghanistan to Pakistan and India. Some of our companies, they are displaying interest to join this project. So there is also area of cooperation here. You are absolutely right. But actually, I prefer the way maybe it is slower, but the way of particular projects. And now, if there is success with this gas pipeline, I think this will open the way for implementation other projects, because there are some on the agenda like refurbishing Muzaffargarh and Jamshoro power stations. Maybe I think the affairs will move on this project as well.
Mr. Coming to the issue of Ukraine, it seems to be a flashpoint between Russia and the Western world. You think that this Ukrainian issue is going to be resolved, or it will remain soaring for the years to come?
Well, it's a not easy question, because as for the flashpoint, very difficult to say, because actually some tensions in our relations with the West, they started before Ukraine. And I won't exclude that if not for Ukraine, some other pretext would be found by the West countries to make their relations with Russia more complicated. But as for the Ukraine particular, this is just another example of political injury of Western countries in the political regime in various countries of the world. One of the examples, because the results can be seen of this process, they are very clearly seen in such countries as, for example, Iraq, Libya, Syria, of course. Well, actually, for a long time, the success story of the political engineering was Yemen, but what's happening there, I think this doesn't need comments. We are seeing that civil war there, it's not just a sectarian thing, religious, it's full-scale civil war, and with some external interference, as we can see. As coming back to the Ukraine, actually, Western countries, they facilitated this coup d'etat in Ukraine. That's what happened when just legally elected president was thrown out of the country. After that, the Western countries started claiming that if he left the country, he lost his legitimacy. Here, there are some other parallels with Yemen, when the Yemeni president lost the country under the same circumstances. The very same countries told that he hasn't lost legitimacy. So what's the principle?
Double standards.
Absolutely, absolutely. You are right. As for situation in Ukraine, we strongly hope for implementation of, so to speak, Minsk process. And quite recently there was ministerial meeting of, so to speak, Normandy format. That is Russia, Ukraine, plus two Western countries, Germany and France. There were some decisions taken directed at further lowering of tension level, like decision to include some artillery weapons with caliber less than 100 millimeters and tanks, to include it to the list of weaponry we should also withdraw from these areas of contact. Secondly, there was strong recommendation to contact group. Contact group, it is to this self-proclaimed republic, Donetskaya Republic, Luganskaya Republic, then Ukrainian side, plus Russia, plus European Union, to create working groups on implementation of other parts of Minsk agreement, that is economic revival, the just humanitarian aspects. Of course, there are some questions which we cannot find answer, why Ukraine is not paying pensions to their own pensioners, which are located in Donetsk and Lugansk territories, why they are organizing an economic blockade of these areas. But however, the trend is positive, and these truce conditions, they have some violations, of course, but in general, they are followed by the both sides. And I think that if we follow the path of this Minsk agreement, finally we shall be able to reach a solution of this issue, because, of course, having the conflict in the very center of Europe, it's not very good thing, and it would have many unpredictable consequences for the whole world as a whole. But again, this is a lesson for those countries who want to interfere into internal affairs
of other countries
without taking into account specific to make it just forcing their own standards. So what happens?
Right. Ambassador, we'll take another short break and then we'll come back to you. एक और मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं नाजरीन, और उसके बाद हम दोबारा पाकिस्तान में रूस के सफ़ीर से गुफ्तगू का ये सिलसिला जारी रखेंगे. वेलकम बैक. हमारी गुफ्तगू का ये सिलसिला जारी है. हम पाकिस्तान में रूस के सफ़ीर से बातचीत कर रहे हैं. पाकिस्तान और रूस के ताल्लुकात के हवाले से, अफ़गानिस्तान की सिचुएशन, दहशत गर्दी का जो मसला है उस पर, और यूक्रेन में इस वक्त जो बहरान है उस पर बातचीत हो रही है. Ambassador, there is an impression, and it is especially being created in the Western media, that the tense relations between Russia and the Western world, particularly the United States, is generating an atmosphere of another Cold War. Is that true?
Well, I hope that positive trends which were laid by administration of the United States, they will be able to overwhelm the negative trends which we are facing now, because good and cooperative relations between United States, between West from one side and Russia, they are mutually beneficial, and the sanctions regime which is imposed by West on Russia and our reciprocal sanctions, well, it's very difficult to say what are the reasons for this. But what we face, for example, in the United States, that certain efforts by administrations which sometimes are directed at normalization of the situation in certain areas, actually this pertains not only to Russia, this pertains to other various issues. They strangely find a very strong resistance from the Congress of the United States, maybe because of domination of conservative forces, whatever. Now, as we can see, there is a start of a presidential campaign of the United States, and I think in certain degrees the attention there will be diverted to the internal issue, because traditionally for Americans their internal issues for them are more important than external things. However, they need to realize that the improvement of relations between United States and Russia and the architecture of these relations, that it shouldn't be demands or deeds directed at the creation of unipolar world. It should be multipolar world. And the main principle of relations should be equality. And on this base, the improvement of the relations is actually for the benefit not of one only side, but for the benefit of all sides. Because we have a lot of areas to cooperate. For example, if we come back to Afghanistan and Pakistan and other countries, we had a very good program with NATO concerning preparation of anti-drug personnel for the countries of South Asia. Now, this program was stalled, and there is no good either for these countries or for Russia or for United States, because, such a way of breaking down, it's not productive. The cooperation is much more productive for the stability of the world.
You mentioned the crisis in Yemen, but you see the entire Middle East seems to be in turmoil. The situation is very unstable. The countries of that region are facing internal situations. You think that this has been triggered, as some analysts claim that this has been triggered by the US and its allies? This whole trouble has been created, fomented by them.
Maybe some formula which was introduced by United States and their allies became one of the factors of destabilizing the situation, because when there is some part of some just templates of solution, they cannot be universal. They should take into consideration the specific...
The regional situation.
Yes, regional and internal situation. If we take a national balance in Yemen, religious balance in Yemen, 46% are Shias. Maybe their interests were not considered in a full scale, which later became a trigger for this kind of events. But of course, the roots of this contradiction, they lay much deeper, and we know very well that it's not only Shias which are fighting against the regime of the former President Hadi. The Shias received their support and from forces of the former president of Yemen, Saleh. So it's a much more complicated and multi-layered problem in Yemen. And what we think that military actions is not the way to settle it. The figures are very dramatic. I don't know what's the situation now, but about 3-4 days ago, the results of this
aerial strikes.
Air strikes. They resulted in the killing of about 650 people. Most of them were civilians, not mentioning just detriment to infrastructure, to houses, to objects, whatever. And in this connection, we are strongly in favor of peaceful and political diplomatic solution of this issue by the way of dialogue between the varying sides. And of course, we welcome efforts which go in this direction.
But Russia was not present when the resolution was passed by the Security Council the other day. I think you do not agree with that resolution.
You mean this concerning
the Security Council on Yemen, yes.
Arms embargo,
yes.
Arms embargo. But I think this is one of the aspects of just solution of this issue. And first of all, we make emphasis on the way of dialogue. In this connection, arms embargo to the varying side, but there is no arms embargo about sides which is delivering arms strikes.
Right. One quick question about the nuclear deal between Iran and the Western countries. You think that this deal will ultimately help the Western countries to achieve their objective of keeping Iran away from becoming a nuclear power?
Well, what we should say, first we should make a definition. What is the nuclear power? Because if there is an issue about preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons, of course it's a goal not only of the Western countries, it's a universal goal, and we participated in this process. We participate in working out United Nations Security Council sanctions against Iranian possible, just direct possible development of military aspect. But they were of purely non-proliferation in nature, the sanctions. As far as we know, and Iran claims, their nuclear program has no military dimension. And to be frank, so far there is not a single direct proof that it has military dimension. There are only unclarified issues. You know, there is a great difference, direct proofs and unclarified issues. Actually, after the sanctions were imposed, after very long bargaining, and we were very surprised when we found out that Western countries several months after that imposed their own sanctions, which were had a purely economic issue. The limitation for Iran's trade in oil, in gas, then some obstacles on the financial flows, banking area, this cutting Iran from SWIFT system. We were against these unilateral sanctions from the very beginning, and we consider them, these sanctions, illegal. And we strongly voiced that these sanctions should be cancelled, especially after the success which was reached on the negotiation, which will definitely help to clarify all these unclarified issues and to put Iranian nuclear program under the even more tightest control. By the way, even before that, the level and tightness control over Iranian nuclear program had no precedence. It was unprecedented control. In general, if the agreement is reached, and the timeline is 30th of June, I mean the agreement itself is formulated, the agreement on principles is reached. Of course, it would be a great contribution into easing of tensions regionally wide, and it will make atmosphere more healthy, I should say even worldwide. As for Iranian trade with oil and gas, I think one of the biggest winner of the situation would be Pakistan, because the waiver of sanctions
will help complete this Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline.
Absolutely, which would be quite a considerable contribution in settlement of energy crisis in Pakistan. And so we can only welcome the development of the events in this very direction, which will pave the way for waiving, first of all, these unilateral sanctions and waiving sanctions which were imposed by the United Nations Security Council. This we strongly state for that.
Thank you, Ambassador. नाज़रीन, आज इस प्रोग्राम में पाकिस्तान में रूस के सफ़ीर जनाब एलेक्सी देदोफ हमारे मेहमान थे। उन्होंने गुफ्तगू किया पाकिस्तान और रूस के बाहमी ताल्लुकात के हवाले से। उन्होंने कहा कि बहुत इम्कानात हैं पाकिस्तान और रूस के दरमियान फौजी ताउन के भी और मईशत और तजारत में भी दोनों मुल्कों में ताल्लुकात को फ़रोग़ दिया जा सकता है, वुसअत दी जा सकती है। उनका ख्याल है कि पाकिस्तान और रूस दहशतगर्दी के ख़िलाफ़ भी एक मौसर ताउन जो है वो कर सकते हैं। उन्होंने अफ़गानिस्तान की सूरत हाल का भी तज़किरा किया और इस वक्त जो मशरिक़ वस्ता में बहरान है उस पर भी उन्होंने इज़हार ख्याल किया। इसी के साथ ही ये प्रोग्राम ख़त्म होता है। जावेद सिद्दीक को इजाज़त दीजिए। खुदा हाफिज़। Ambassador, thank you very much
Thank
for
you very much.
joining us in this program.
My
Thank you
honor
very
and
much.
pleasure.
My pleasure.
मुझको खुशी हुई।
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
शुक्रिया।
शुक्रिया। Thank you, sir.